Hello, Princess on a Pillow here. I am here to do a review slash recap with my opinion on Love After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 5, titled Get Right or Get Left. Boy, these titles kill me. Let's get started. First couple is Kevin, Curtis, and Tiffany. We pick up where we left off. Kevin knocked out Curtis. And then Kevin walks by him and says, "Good night." Then he gets into his car and tries to back out. But Curtis is laying on the ground and his head is right by Kevin's tire. So this lady or the producer is yelling, "Don't leave, don't leave, no, stop, stop, stop." And Kevin is like, "Get him out of the way. Get him up off the floor." So they roll him over and Kevin backs out and leaves. And Tiffany is sitting in the car, the producer's car, I guess. She doesn't go over to check on Curtis. She doesn't ask if he's okay. Maybe she did. Maybe she did say, "Is he okay?" Maybe she did, but she just sat in the producer's vehicle. You can tell what type of person she is. She's a selfish person. This happened because of her. First she tell one guy to pick her up, then she said, "No, don't pick me up," and then she said another guy to come pick her up. She just, got puppets on a string. So they finally get Curtis up and they put him in his vehicle. And he's still out of it. He's like, "What happened? Where is the guy? What happened?" He doesn't even remember being knocked out. He has a bruise on his forehead from when he hit the concrete. And he has no clue what happened. In the meantime, Kevin is driving and he calls his mama. "Mama, I may be going to jail. I knocked this guy out." He's scared. He's scared. When guys are scared, they call their mother. So he gives her the rundown on what happened, tells her what happened. And in the meantime, they call the EMT to check Curtis out. And Tiffany's still sitting on her ass in the production vehicle, talking about, "I'm overwhelmed and I'm ready to go," after she caused this problem. She didn't check on poor Curtis. She didn't ask anybody if he's okay. I wonder how he's going to feel when he watches this back and see how he was knocked out. And how she didn't come check on him or anything. But Curtis should have stayed in his car because he was in the car. Then he gets out of the car, comes over to Kevin and said, "Oh, you're tiny. You look like you're in the 3rd grade." And he put his arm up like this, measuring Kevin's height. And that's when Kevin said, "Hey, don't touch me. I'll knock your pee ass out." And Curtis had a cigarette in one hand and a fist in the other, and that was it. It didn't even look like it took him much effort to punch Curtis out. And Kevin is a little guy. He had weight behind that punch. I don't know. So the paramedics gave Chris the all clear. So he's fine. And all he's worried about is, will Tiffany go home with him? So he goes up to Tiffany, drives over to Tiffany, and and she tells him that she's stressed out and she's overwhelmed, and she'll talk to him in a couple of days. So she didn't leave with him. And I guess seeing him get knocked out by Curtis turned her off. I guess seeing Curtis get knocked out by Kevin turned her off from Curtis. But Curtis says okay, and he takes her crap out of his vehicle. And then he starts to bawl like a baby. He starts to cry. And he's not crying because he was knocked out. He's crying because Tiffany won't go home with him. Oh my gosh. So as soon as he pulls off, guess what Miss Tiffany does? She calls Kevin. She calls Kevin and tells Kevin, "I'm sorry, Kevin, come back and get me." what does Kevin do? He comes back and get her. He said, okay. He fussed a little bit at her, but then he said, okay. And he turned back around to come get her. I don't think her crap can fit in this car anyway. I don't understand how these criminals have such pull on people. They just toy with people's affection and treat people like crap and get away with it. Okay, that's the end of Kevin, Tiffany, and Curtis. Now on to Indy and Harry. Indy and Harry, along with the daughter, they get to the psychic's place. Her name is Cindy. They introduce themselves. They sit down. And Cindy, the psychic, tells them that before they arrived, she felt a sense of nervousness and anxiety. And of course she felt nervous and anxiety. You got a kidnapper, burglar, robber, convict coming to see you. I'd be nervous and anxious too. You better hide your crystals. Anyways, when they get there, Cindy tells Harry that he's angry. And Harry denies it. And then Indy calls Harry a dick. So then Cindy asks Indy, what would she like to know? And Indy wants to know if her and Harry will get married and live happily ever after. So Cindy tells them it's in the cards if they both put in the effort. Really, Cindy? That's not common. This is common sense advice. That's not psychic reading. That's not a psychic reading. This is common sense advice. If two people put in what it takes to make a relationship work, then a relationship will work. That's just common sense talk. That's not a psychic reading. Is Cindy getting paid for this? If that's the case, I can be a psychic. So now Harry's starting to like Cindy because she told Indy not to rush into marriage, and Harry loved that. Okay, so they leave Cindy's place. I think it was our house. I don't know. And while walking to the car, Harry's phone rang, and he tells Indy that it's his PO, but it wasn't his PO. It was a female's phone, voice on the phone. So he walks off somewhere private to have a conversation. It may have been his ex-girlfriend, his baby mama. It was a female's voice on the phone, and he tells her he will see her soon. I think it was his baby mama. In his confessional, he said he can't marry Indy because they haven't been together long enough. And I agree with Harry, but he needs to let Indy knows this. And Harry does not want Indy. He just doesn't want to lose this unconditional love she has for him, because nobody else is giving him that. Anyway, the next scene, we see Harry pretending to check the oil on the car. I don't even know if he knows what he's doing. And it comes to find out that Harry has a daughter. So Indy asks him if they're going to go meet the daughter. But Harry says he has to talk to his ex first. Her name is Fatima. Harry said their relationship didn't even last 4 months, but they had a baby, and they named her Ava. He said because he was in prison, he missed all of her birthdays. So she's about 5 years old. Harry said his ex told his daughter that he was in superhero camp instead of prison. So we see a clip of Harry talking to Fatima and Ava. And Harry says he can't wait to see his daughter and spend time with her. So Harry told Indy that he doesn't want her to meet Fatima, and he is overwhelmed. So Harry asks Indy to drive him over to see Fatima and his daughter Ava. On the way there, Indy asks Harry if he still has feelings for Fatima. So they're going back and forth talking about his feelings for his ex and him cheating and blah, blah, blah. And Indy is a nag. She's a nag because of her insecurities. Indy girl, if you can't trust Harry, then dump him. Why would you be in a relationship where you can't trust the person that you're with? I couldn't do that. So Harry tells her that her nagging is getting old, and it is. So Indy pulls up to a house. Harry gets out of the car. He goes and knocks on the door, and door opens, and he goes in. In the meantime, Indy and her daughter, they're standing by the car. They're standing outside by the car, waiting. Indy wants to be introduced to Fatima. I guess she wants to check out the competition. So we see Fatima, and Harry likes black girls, don't he? And then we see Ava. She is a pretty little, gorgeous little girl. And she's all over Harry. So after he spends some time with his daughter, Harry sits down to talk to Fatima. They talk about his plans. They talk about Indy and her kids. They talk about Harry's responsibilities to Ava. Harry asks Fatima if he can take Ava for a night or two. Fatima says, nope. She told him that he can come over and spend time with Ava, but he can't take her. And I agree with Fatima. Harry can't even follow simple rules. Don't drive without a license. Be home by 10. Simple rules he can't even follow. No, he can't take that baby nowhere. I wouldn't let him take her anywhere. That's the end of Indy and Harry. Next up, we have a new couple that introduced us. They introduced us to a new couple, Chaz and Branwyn. Chaz is 55 years old. He works as a customer service representative, and he's a retired Marine. Branwyn is 40 years old. She's in jail for aggravated identity theft. She had 3 years. She had to serve a 3-year sentence. And they're in Kentucky. But I think Branwyn is in Portland. And it's 3 days before Branwyn gets released. Chaz plays the guitar in a heavy metal band. And he tells his band members that he won't be there next week because he's going out of state to go pick up Branwyn from prison. Chaz says Branwyn is the love of his life, and they met on a prison dating site. Chaz says he's seen Branwyn in real life one time, and they video chat once a week. Chaz is worried that Branwyn won't find him as attractive as she would other guys. Chaz said that the women in Kentucky are tall and he is short, and they want nothing to do with him because he is short. He said he's 5'5". I'm 5'1". I'm short. I think I like Chaz. He's realistic. He said he knows that Branwyn is out of his league. If she wasn't in prison, she'd be out of his league. That's very logical, right? Very realistic. I like that about him. I don't think the other ones are logical like that. I like that he's being real and honest with himself. Because we saw a picture of her and she's gorgeous. But just when I think I'm starting to like him, he says he gives her an allowance every 2 weeks. What does she need an allowance for? She's in prison. She has a roof over her head, food in her stomach, and clothes on her back. What does she need an allowance for? To go buy a snack at the commissary? He says he gives her an allowance. How many other guys sending her an allowance? I hope he realized that he's not the only one giving her an allowance. But you know what? If you look at it from the convict side, you can't blame them. If I was in prison, I would probably do the same thing. I would get as many guys as I can to send me money. I'm trying to pretty myself up and get on a dating website, a prison dating website, and see how many hits I get. And I get these men to send me money. I mean, I don't have to do anything with them. I don't have to kiss them, hug them, touch them, have sex with them, see them. I don't have to do anything with them. I'm in prison. I'm behind bars. They can't contact me unless I contact them. That's the ideal relationship. No, it's not. But if I was in prison, I would do the exact same thing. I would get on websites, dating websites, and have guys galore. I would. What else have I have to do? What else do I have to do? And we're grown people. You know, it's not like I'm dating a child. I'm dating an adult with a mind of their own. You know, I'm not really scamming you. All they want you to do is talk nice to them. Hi, honey, how are you? Do you miss me? I miss you. You know, all they want you to do is give them some attention. Talk nice to them every once in a while, and they'll send you money. You know, if I was in prison, I would do the same thing. I mean, why not? I don't blame them. I blame the people on the outside who fall for it, you know? I would have as many boyfriends and sugar daddies as possible and save my money up. So when I come out, I have money. I would do that. I'm serious. I would do that. Anyway, Chaz's bandmate, Jack Storm, has tiny pupils. I don't know if that's contact lenses or what, but he has the tiniest little pupils. They look weird. Anyway, Jack Storm is concerned about Chaz. He doesn't think that inmates are the top of the crop people. So he's concerned for Chaz. Branwyn calls Chaz and he steps outside to take the call. He tells her that his bandmates were asking about her and they want to make sure she doesn't stab him in his sleep. I don't know why he said that. Branwyn told him, well, if he acts right, then it's not an issue. That's what she tells him. Act right and I won't stab you in your sleep. These convicts are nothing to play with. Anyway, Chaz says that Branwyn's crime is not that bad and she has learned from her mistakes. How does he know that? How does he know that? He doesn't know this woman. Has he been seeing a psychic too? How does he know she's learned from her mistakes? Anyway, next scene, we see Chaz. Chaz is home with his beautiful cat. I love cats. Chaz says he has no children and Branwyn has to compete with his cats. Next scene, Chaz is on his way to his sister Christina's house. He says Christina gets to meet Branwyn on video for the first time today. He said Christina does not know how serious he is about Branwyn. So he gets to his sister's house. He tells her that he's flying out to Portland to see Branwyn. And she gets out in 2 days. Christina said women has taken advantage of Chaz in the past for his money. Chaz tells Christina that he is going to marry Branwyn. Just when I think that he's a logical person, that he does this. Don't marry her, Chaz. You're a dummy. Don't marry her. She is going to bleed him dry. Then Chaz tells us that he's been married 4 times. Chaz told his sister that he brought Branwyn a wedding ring over a year ago. Can anyone tell me what the heck Chaz and Christina are eating? I don't know what they're eating. It looks disgusting. OMG. Ugh. Anyway, Chaz said that with his first wife, they were married about a year. He didn't really say what happened. He said with his second wife, they didn't get along. I think it was drugs for the second wife. He said for the third wife, they fought a lot. Did a lot of fighting. And the fourth wife passed away. So Branwyn calls and they video chat with her. And she gets to talk to Christina. And Christina basically says to her, Don't marry my brother for his money. Marry him for love. And Branwyn, she starts to talk about how her whole family are drug addicts and she wants to get away from them. She starts deflecting. Christina didn't say anything about her family. Christina said, don't marry my brother for his money. Marry him for love. And instead of saying, oh, I love your brother, instead of saying that, she starts talking about her drug addict family in Portland and how she's trying to get away from them. She's deflecting. She's not talking about the subject that the sister just brought up. It's like somebody said to me, are you going to Johnny's house? And I said, oh, the sky is so blue today. I'm deflecting. I don't want to answer that question about going to Johnny's house. So I'm changing the subject. I'm talking about something totally different. And that's, to me, it seems like that's what Branwyn did. She starts talking about her drug addict family in Portland when the lady's saying, don't marry my brother for his money, marry him for love. And instead of saying, oh, I do love your brother, she's talking about her drug addict family. And drugs wasn't her problem. Her problem was theft. So why is she even bringing that up? I think Branwyn is about to get out of jail and wreak havoc on Chaz's life. I think that's what's about to happen to poor Chaz. Okay, that's the end of Chaz and Branwyn. Next is Kayla and Martell. You want to say Montrell or it's Kayla and Martell. Now let me see. There are 4 YouTubers that I watch that or I'm subscribed to that review Love After Lockup. And not one of them agreed with me about Kayla and Martell. They think that Martell purposely came into the apartment and started a fight with Kayla so that he can leave, so he has a reason to leave. I don't agree with that. He didn't start a fight with her. He walked in, he said, when was the last time you cooked? She said, last night. He said, well, you should have cleaned the stove. Then he walks down the hall and he said, oh, it looks like you need to do laundry. He didn't yell, he didn't cuss, he didn't raise his voice, he didn't even have an attitude. He just said, you need to clean the stove, and then he said, you need to do laundry. That's all the man said, and Kayla went from here to here. She said, don't disrespect me, I'll slap the shit out of you, and start screaming and yelling and cussing him out. She started an argument with him. He didn't argue with her, and then he kindly left. Called his friend picked him up, and he left. Okay, let's say that was his plan, to start an argument with her so that he can leave. Why would he do that? Oh, his personality doesn't seem like that type of personality. He seemed like a straight up person. He seemed like what he would have done is call her up and said, look, I have a 2-day pass. I'm going to go to my grandmother's house for 1 day and I'll see you the next day. He doesn't seem like the type of person that would call her up, tell her to pick him up, go to the apartment, start a fight with her, then leave, call somebody to pick him up. And that doesn't make any sense. I don't think he intentionally started a fight with her. He was calm and cool and collected. She is the one that started the actual argument. But everybody thinks that he is wrong and Kayla is right. She should have cleaned that apartment. Come on now. Anywho, that's my little tirade about that. Okay, so we see Kayla, she's at the apartment, and I think it's the next day. She said she doesn't know where Martell is or who he's with. And she's so pathetic. She starts reading the letters that he sent her from prison. If you didn't jump off and pop off and threaten to slap the shit out of him, you would have had him there in your bed with you, and you wouldn't be reading letters that he sent you weeks ago. Idiot. She claimed he disrespected her by saying you should have cleaned the stove and by saying you need to do laundry. That's disrespecting her? That's not disrespect. You should have done the laundry and you should have wiped off the stove. I don't think that's disrespecting. Anyway, we see her in the kitchen and she disassembled the stove and she's cleaning the hell out of that stove. She's scrubbing for the gods. And the next thing we know, there's a knock at the door and guess who shows up? It's Bay. And he brings her a dining room set. And Kayla, she's not happy about that. She's not happy that he returned. She's not happy that he returned with a dining room set. All she wants is an apology. Apology for what? I don't know. He didn't embarrass her. He didn't disrespect her. She embarrassed herself by not cleaning up, not cleaning the stove and not doing laundry. That's her embarrassment. And how did he disrespect her? He didn't disrespect her. She disrespected him by saying she want to slap the shit out of him. She disrespected him. So I don't know. She embarrassed herself and she disrespected him, but she wants him to apologize to her. I don't get that. She's crazy. I don't like her. She needs to apologize to him for threatening to slap him. Because if the roles were reversed and he told her, I'll slap the shit out of you. I know a man is bigger and I know his slap would probably break her neck or something because she's so tiny. You know, I know he's stronger and everything and he's a man. But still, she shouldn't have threatened to slap the shit out of him. She shouldn't. No, that's not right. Nobody should be slapping anybody. It would have been a totally different scenario if he had been the one threatening to slap the shit out of her. I don't like Kayla. I think she's a controlling bitch. I do. How does she think this man fresh out of prison can afford to buy her a $30, $40,000 engagement ring? And how does she think she needs why does she think she needs to track his every move? She wants to put a tracker on his phone. And I don't understand why she thinks it's okay to threaten to slap the shit out of him. I don't like her. And usually I'm not on the convict side, but I'm on the convict side now. She's making it really easy for me to be on Martel's side. So far, he has done nothing. He hasn't done anything to her. And now that he's home, he's back at the apartment, she's being mean to him. He brings her to the dining room table. He tries to kiss her. He tells her he misses her. And she's being a total bitch. She said she didn't miss him. She pulls away. She doesn't want to kiss him. She wants an apology. And Martel claims that he went to see his grandmother last night. I don't know how true that is. But hey, nobody can prove he didn't. Nobody can prove he did. So they sit down to talk. And right off the jump, she's yelling at him. She's yelling at the top of her lungs. Why does she think somebody wants to be yelled at? Why does she think her yelling at him is going to get her anywhere? I don't. He had to tell her to lower her voice. So she lowers her voice. And they stop arguing. And he tells her he's hungry. She asks him what does he want to eat. He said shrimp and Alfredo from the strip club. And I think he's just trying to goad her. That's probably where he was last night. He's just trying to goad her. And she walks off. She's like, you know what? She just walks off. So the next scene, we see Martel. He's at the apartment and he's eating, sitting at the dining room table eating and talking to someone on the phone. And Kayla walks in the front door and she sits down and they talk. And he apologizes to her for embarrassing her. But he refuses to apologize for disrespecting her. And they start arguing again. So eventually, Kayla decides to back down because she doesn't want to spend another night in that apartment alone. So she just decided to back down. So that's the end of Martel and Kayla. Next up, let me see who else is left. Okay, next up is Taylor and Chance. They're home with the kids, not fighting for once. Taylor asks Bobby to watch the girls while she and Chance go spend some alone time together. So they're driving around trying to find a place, an area where they can have sex. And they pull up next to a cemetery. And, they got it on. Next scene, Chance and Taylor, they go back to the house. And the kids are jumping around on the sofa, throwing pillows. And Bobby is in her room with the door closed. She claims she checked on them and they were fine. But Chance, he knows, he doesn't like the fact that Bobby was in her room with the door closed and she was supposed to be watching the kids. So he tries to tell her that, he has to have a talk with her, but she shuts her door. And then the girls, they told the mom and Chance that Bobby never came out of her room to check on them. And Chance is not happy with that. And me either. Bobby, if you say you're going to watch the girls, watch them. You can sit in the living room and read your book, be on your phone, watch TV. I mean, just be out there with them. That at least pretend you're watching them. Damn. You're in your room with the door closed, but you're watching them. Anything could have happened to them. Somebody could have fallen, hurt themselves. Anything could have happened to them. So I agree with Chance. So I don't like Chance, but I have to agree with him then. Bobby is not good at watching the kids. She should have been out there watching them. So Chance said that he can't count on Bobby to watch the kids anymore. And then the 5-year-old, I think something else, he must have said something else other than that, because the 5-year-old said that this is my mommy's house, and what she's the only one that can tell us what to do. So I think he must have said something to the kids, because that little 5-year-old said, this is my mommy's house and she's the only one that can tell us what to do. Chance didn't like that. He got upset and went into the bedroom. He's mad that he has no authority. Of course you have no authority, Chance. You're just the boyfriend. You just came home from jail and you're just the boyfriend. Why do you think you have authority? So Chance and Taylor, they're in the bedroom arguing. Because Chance feels like he has no authority, and he's talking crap about Bobby, and Bobby can hear them, and Bobby says she does the exact same thing that they do. They're always in one room, and the kids are in the living room jumping around, and playing and acting crazy. And we have seen that on camera. We've seen Chance and Taylor in the kitchen, and the kids in the living room just jumping around, having a ball. We've seen that, so we can't say Bobby lying. So Taylor goes to check on Bobby, and she realized that Bobby left. Her car is not there. Bobby left, and Chance is not sad about that at all. That's the end of Chance and Taylor. I think this is the last couple. Let me see. Yeah, this is the last couple. This is Lacey and Antoine. So Lacey is decorating her home with welcome home signs for Antoine, and she has food cooked for him, and it's a 3-hour drive to where he is, so she got a hotel room. Lacey says Antoine is the love of her life, and she will not allow anyone to mess it up. I think she's talking about the mother. While driving, her sister Naomi calls her, and come to find out that Lacey's sister is a drug addict, and she was in prison for 8 years, just like Taylor's sister. She's a drug addict, and she was in prison. I don't know how long she was in prison for. I don't think it was 8 years, but she was also in prison. So Naomi is letting Lacey know what to expect from Chance, because she knows what it's like to be in jail and then finally gets out and has to, start all over. Anyway, later on, Lacey gets to the hotel/motel. She checks in, goes to the room. The next day, she's getting ready to go pick up Antoine. She says he's getting released at 10:30. So she gets to the prison, and she has a 30-minute wait, but she can't wait at the actual prison. She has to wait down the street from the prison because of the C-19 virus. And in a van pulls up, and Antoine gets out with his little box, in his hand. And he puts the box down, and he hugs and kisses Lacey. And Antoine said being out of prison is the best feeling in the world. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he did something wrong and went back in. I think he's back in prison in real time. I think that's what I heard. I'm not sure. I guess that best feeling in the world didn't last long enough for him, I guess, because he's back in, I think. In his confessional, Antoine said he has been getting in trouble his whole life, ever since he was a little kid. Well, his mother did say he's a monster in the streets. And Antoine said he has 8 felonies, and the felonies, they stem from stealing vehicles and selling drugs. He said the first time he went away, he was 18 years old. He said when he went to prison this time, it was for a stolen car. He said he passed the cop who ran the plates, and they went through a high-speed chase, and he ran out of gas. During the high-speed chase, he runs out of gas. So he takes off running on foot, and that's how he got caught. I guess he couldn't run fast enough. Anyway, Lacey and Antoine, they're sitting in a car, and Lacey is touching Antoine's face. She's touching his face, and he's like this, pulling away. And I don't blame him. Why is she touching his face? Don't you know that the hands are the dirtiest part of the body? Our hands are touching doorknobs, money, phone, the steering wheel to the car, doorknobs. Our hands are always touching something. It's the dirtiest part of our body. People are doing this. People are doing this. Instead of doing this, they're doing this. This is the dirtiest part of our body. We touch everything with our hands. And then she's touching his face, and he's pulling away. You don't want her to touch his face. I don't blame him. Where her hands been? Antoine said he is used to being alone. He said, out of his 3.5-year sentence, he spent 2 of those years in the hole. He said he got in trouble. He said he got into a riot and got caught with a cell phone. He said he got caught making liquor. He basically said that boredom makes him commit crimes and disobey rules. That's what he basically said. And I don't think Antoine is into Lacey. He doesn't want her touching his face, which I agree. She tries to hold his hand. He told her she had sweaty hands. She kissed him and he wipes it off. He tells her that her kisses were wet. I don't think he wants her as a girlfriend. I think he wants her as a mother. She's what, 10 years older than him or something like that? Well, this is the end of my review. I will be back next week with another review. Princess on a Pillow here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.